Hello everyone, welcome to a new Supersonic Boom action figure review. Today I'll be reviewing Jazwares' second wave of 3-inch Sonic figures and Tails with rotatable tails. This is what all the boxes look like. Each figure has 14 points of articulation. Except for Tails, who has 15 points because of his rotatable tails. Alright, now to talk about individual sculpt. This is probably the best Shadow figure, sculpt-wise, that has ever been crafted. His shoes have all the details, including holes on the bottom, which surprisingly, there's only been 2 figures in history, including this one, that have air holes on the bottom, which every Shadow figure should have. He's got his white fur there, tail, spikes on the back, stripes on the spikes. His ears are proportionate. Everything looks proportionate. He's got his golden cuffs on his wrists and on his shoes. Everything just looks very nice on this figure, except for the fists, which I really hate. Silver is just amazing sculpt-wise. They've included all of the details on his shoes, his hands as well. They've got the little circle things. His detail is just astounding. His spikes, eyes, they're nice and yellow. He has a really, really great sculpt. Hand pose as well. Werehog has some really intricate details as well. He's got the spikes on his shoes there, the spikes on his cleat things. His fur is chiseled in, so it looks really nice and textured. His mouth's in the center, as it should be with the Werehog. He even has fangs, and they've white-tipped his spikes. He just looks amazing for being so small. And Tails as well. They haven't left out a darn thing. They've got his tails with the white tips. His hands are in nice poses. He's got the little black cuffs on his shoes and his hands. Treads on the bottom. Really nice sculpt on Tails. Alright, now it's time for the pros and cons. Alright, pros for Shadow, pretty much everything. Amazing sculpt, great articulation. You can pose him in any way you want. Air holes on the bottom, really detailed shoes. This is a figure with little to complain about. The one thing are his fists. And the Sonic figure from this series I really liked as well, but they made him have fists. I mean, Shadow, he skates like that. They should have his hands like that or something. He just looks kind of horrible with closed fists. Shadow also stands pretty good as well. Alright, pros for Silver. Amazing sculpt, amazing articulation. Both of his hands are bendable, so they're not likely to snap if you accidentally put pressure on them or something. These spikes up here are made of a kind of hard rubber so that they won't break either. Not really any cons, except maybe his limbs are a bit too stocky and the joints are really visible, which is one thing I don't particularly like about the 3-inch figures. Werehog has a great sculpt, great articulation, the hand pose is appropriate. No cons, except for he doesn't stand up very well without his stand. I mean, he stands okay, but he's pretty easy to knock over. And this middle joint up here, at least on mine, is really loose, so he tends to swivel very loosely. Tails, great sculpt, great articulation, bendable bangs, bendable whiskers. No cons at all with this figure. He is very well made. Probably the best Tails action figure ever made. Now for the accessories. Each of these figures, excluding Tails, has a great looking little display stand. It's shaped like a Sonic Spin Attack, and it has a little peg for their foot to go onto, and the feet have holes, so that is really nice. We haven't really seen this since back when the Jazwares figures were being made. Tails comes with nothing. Warnings when buying these figures. With Shadow, you don't really have to look out for anything. His paint job is very nice, so you don't have to look for overspray or anything. I mean, it's good to always check, but it's unlikely that you'll find anything. He can have 2 left hands, or 2 right feet, or 2 right hands, or 2 right feet. So always be sure that he has his left hand and his right hand in the package. Silver, you have to watch out for the 2 left hands or 2 right hands, but there's also something else. Silver shoes are really prone to being mispainted. Right here on this one, you can see that they haven't painted in these little hexagons blue, and they should have. On this one, he's missing his little red dot that goes right there. And this one's good. So always be sure to check before you buy in the packaging. Make sure he has all the details on his shoes. Werehog, there is one big thing that you have to look out for. Now mine is okay, but I've heard that some of their leg joints on some of the figures don't have anything to stop them from going forward. Like this one, he has a little piece of plastic there to stop him from going forward. Some, they can just bend all the way forward and all the way backwards, which makes the figure impossible to stand. So it's pretty impossible to tell if it's like that or not from in the box. So if you buy this guy, make sure you get him from somewhere where you can return him and get a new one if he's like that. Yeah. Okay, in conclusion, I really recommend buying these figures. Look out for the stuff that I told you to look out for, but definitely buy these figures. And at $4.99 a piece, they're very reasonably priced. Okay, see you next time on Supersonic Boom Action Figure Reviews.